Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and today what I thought I would do is finish off the wave 4 of the Kreo microchangers. Starting us off, Alpha Trion. As you can see, I think he's based more on his G1 version, with a lot of liberties taken. I never really saw him hold this kind of sword, and instead of a cape, he has some sort of wing unit. A lot of parts here involved in building up the figure. Great detailing on the chest. Interesting to note, he does have a new head sculpt, which here, let me pull the mask off, but it's covered up by that visor. This is the same kind of visor that came with the preview wave Waspinator, and I think has come with like Mirage and some of the other Creos in the larger kits. But there's his Fu Manchu, and there's his head. Now let's take a look at vehicle mode. And here's Alpha Trion in his vehicle mode. Now I want to give you two warnings. Number one, you have, as you can see, you have to pop off the arms on the torso. On one, it came off very easily. On the other one, I had to use a little bit of force, which means you run the risk of causing stress marks here on the joints. Those are very small ball joints. I really don't see why you had to pop the arms off, and I don't recommend it. Number two, once you pop the arms off, they are very small pieces, and they can be easily lost. Alpha Trion is a self-contained build. The only thing not being used, I should say, is this little cape piece, and that's something I should mention. Most of the figures here, except for one exception, Sandstorm, use the cape instead of the full vest, and I think it works out a lot better. But this is a really cool build. I like the use of parts, a lot of building involved, and it really does look like a jet. I'm hoping at some point this gets repainted into Vector Prime. Now let's move on to the next figure. Next up, we're taking a look at Deluxe Insecticon Barrage. I find it kind of interesting that they went all the way back to G1 for these Deluxe Insecticons. Very menacing face sculpt. I kind of like that. New handgun style. I never really saw it before. A lot of building involved. I mean, he has this really involved backpack that's actually going to be a great insect build. So there's a good shot of his chest detailing. Let's get to that insect mode right now. And here's Barrage in his insect mode. This is basically you had to tear the figure apart, rebuild it, using a whole bunch of extra parts to build up this tail section. They're actually not using the legs. I really think this is one of the more inventive builds that I've seen in a long while, as it really does look like some sort of robotic insect in a Kreo form. Definitely, I think one of the highlights of this wave. Let's move on to the next figure. Here's one of the ones I was really looking forward to, Braun. As you can see, he has this great silver head helmet, clear blue blaster, and a great built-up backpack. Really close to his original G1 visage. Let's take a look at vehicle mode. And here's Braun in his vehicle mode. Interesting little thing. I thought the build would just be adjusting these two pylons on the backpack, but in truth, you have to shift everything down one to be able to fit in the front hood and grill build. Very nice. Would have preferred some way to secure the legs more, but I guess after wave 2, I'm a little spoiled. Let's look at the next figure. And here's an interesting figure in the line. This is Iceberg, and from a little checking I was able to do, apparently this is based on a minicon from Armada that's been changed around. And it's, the colors do match, and it is a snowplow of some sort, but yeah, very unique build, very interesting look. So great detailing there on the front there, a little exhaust vent. Let's get into the vehicle mode. And here's Iceberg in vehicle mode. And I gotta say, this was very fun. Here's a little something I just noticed. You rotate the legs around and fold them down. That paint detail on the back is like the rear of the vehicle. Very cool. Maybe you got a little snowplow. And really, when you think about it, in the world of Transformers, How many snowplows do you have? And with the weather that I've been having recently up here in New York, we can use a little robotic snowplow. So, let's move on to the next figure. And here is the next figure, Rhinox. This is from Beast Wars, and he's a rhino. Great detailing on the robot mode. All that painted in, really solid. You know, great parts in the back. Here's the problem, though. Let's get into the transformation. There's the beast mode. This is actually one of the easiest transformations, and unfortunately one of the less unique, less well, I don't want to say unique, but really just less inventive. You fold up the legs and just bend them over. No part swapping, no nothing. Yeah, there's really nothing more to say about it. Let's get on to the next figure. Now here's Sandstorm. As I mentioned earlier, he uses the vest type of design, but it's really not that bad because this is a clear smoky piece that you can see through, so you can see some of the chest details. And what's covered up is really what would be the car details of Sandstorm. This is not a triple changer. He only goes from robot to helicopter. Um, I love the build of the gun here. This is a little bit more than your standard blaster. And we can already tell the rotors will spin. So let's get to the vehicle mode. And here's Sandstorm in his helicopter mode. I really like it. I like how they use the couple extra parts to build out the front end, make him look like his G1 helicopter mode. Rotor blade spin, which is always wonderful. Geez, I actually think this might be my favorite helicopter after actually surpassing Spinister from the preview wave. But look at that. Look at those blades go. Yeah, you do that. Yeah. Okay, let's get out of here and get to the next figure. Whee! And here's what I would consider the most unique build of this set. This is Slipstrike, which is a takeoff of Transformers animated Slipstream, which was featured in the Transformers Collectors Club figure subscription service. This is a female Seeker, and as you can see, they have a new face design with lips. The build is somewhere between the traditional Seeker builds of Starscream and Sunstorm, and the Conehead design of Thrust and Ramjet. Because they do have the extended parts, but let's take a look at the vehicle mode. And here's Slipstrike's vehicle build. As you can see, it's not really that difficult. You just had to rotate the wings around and add a cone on the head. The hardest part was taking the helmet off. I do like the colors, but I'm a little iffy on the character. Let's move on to the next figure. Okay, and our final figure is Breakneck, who's part of the Stunticons, and I do believe is a rename of Dead End or Wild Rider. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this is Dead End because I'm not sure who's in the Menasor set, with the Stunticon set. That's also would be available at this time. But very nice build. He is going to be a car. A lot of extra parts to build the car, which I think are nice. Nice little backpack look there. So yeah, let's get to the vehicle build. And here's Breakneck in his vehicle mode. And I have to say, it is one of the better car builds I've seen in a while. Instructions were a little confusing. Unfortunately, what you basically want to end up with is this whole back section forward that it's covering part of the back of the figure. Other than that, it's a fun build. I do hope there is a way to integrate it into Menasor, but I'm not 100% sure, as those were never shown in the instructions, and I'm not an inventive builder. Now let me give you my final thoughts on the entire rest of the wave. Okay, just decided to bring everybody back in for one final shot. As I already said, I really think the standouts of this wave are going to be Rodimus and Cyclonus, with maybe Cup coming in third. Real surprise for me was Iceberg. The disappointment was Rhinox. I really think there's someone here you can skip. It's Rhinox. Slip Strike, if you're really not attached to that character, it's really strictly from that animated universe. I would pass. Barrage was a real joy. I mean, that whole extra build to make up that abdomen section was impressive, and Sandstorm really stood out. Alpha Trion, even with some of the issues that I mentioned about removing the arms, it's a fun build. Just, if you see them, pick them up. Certainly, I can't recommend any of these for like a premium online price. But this is your old pal Chuck, and for the Wave 4 Creons, we'll see you next time.